Hey guys, so today I wanted to talk about, or at least over the next few days I wanted to talk about some local hauntings and legends in the town that I live in, or the couple surrounding counties I live in. The first one I wanted to talk about is, one of the places I've volunteered at a lot growing up is the Players Theater of Sarasota, and everybody knows that theaters are kind of by default almost always haunted. And I just wanted to talk about a few of the experiences that I have had at the Sarasota Players. Which, if you've been to Sarasota, it's right across the street from the Van Wezel, or kind of catty-cornered from the Van Wezel. But yeah, one of the experiences that I've had at the Players a couple of times there was one year in about May of 2000 and, let's see, when did I graduate high school? I graduated in 2007. I think May of 2009, I believe. I was helping out with a recital with the Players Performing Arts School, which they always did the recital at the Players Theater. And I was up in the center room of the booth, which at that time we used as the spot booth, and we had these two huge spots that were like shooting a cannon practically when you were using them. And I had the downstairs door shut, and of course the door automatically locked and you had to have a code to get in. And then I had the first upstairs door closed, and I was the only one up in the booth at this point, and the other person doing spots with me was also performing in a few numbers. And at this particular time, he was on stage doing whatever number he was doing. And he was the only other person in the building that had the code to the booth. And the other door on the other end of the building to get to the booth was locked. There was no code to that door. You had to have a key. And then the office attached to that door had another entrance to it as well, and that was locked. And that was attached to the box office, and the box office door was locked. And it was kind of a pain in the ass to jump through the box office windows, because it's like they were boarded up and locked. So there was really no way for anybody to get up to the booth unless you had the code to the main door, unless you wanted to go through like 4 other locked doors. But yeah, I was up in the booth alone. The main lights were off, and I had the blues on, the blue lights, so the white light wasn't like blaring out into the house. So I'm spotting somebody, doing my thing, and I could hear somebody coming up the steps. I could hear somebody walking up and down the steps. Granted, like, the room, the sound traveled very well through the stairwell and through the booth. So I could hear if somebody was walking up the stairs, if they were a heavy walker or were not conscious about being really light-footed coming up. So I assumed that it was the artistic director just stopping in, like he likes to do sometimes. And I thought he was just trying to fuck with me and trying to scare me, so, because, like I said, I heard, like, boots walking up and down the staircase, like, 2 or 3 times. There's, like, 2 flights of stairs, and I heard somebody go up, I heard somebody walk up, go down, come up, go down again, and come back up one last time. And I heard the first door on the first room open, and I heard it shut, and out of the corner of my eye I saw the second door to the room I was in open, and I didn't see it close, but and I knew I had the door closed because, I don't know, I had the door closed for whatever reason. And I saw someone behind me, but of course I was kind of in the middle of doing something, so I didn't look to see who it was, because, I mean, you know, it really wasn't a high priority as to what was going on at the moment. And I felt somebody, let's see, I was like this. I felt somebody touch my right shoulder, like, just kind of just touch my shoulder, and, yeah. And I was like, I'll be with you in a couple minutes, and, talk to you after this number. And whoever it was didn't say anything, and, so the number ends, flip off my spot, lock it so it doesn't move, and I turn around to see who was there, and nobody was there. Mind you, I didn't see whoever it was walk out the room. I could see the door, like, out of my peripheral vision, but I didn't see whoever it was walk out the door, and I didn't hear anybody go downstairs. So that was my first, like, that was one of the experiences that I had, and, like, the first time I had really been touched or anything, I think. That happened a couple of times. I had the same thing happen when I was doing, when I was running the light board for a chorus line. Granted, there was myself, the stage manager, the assistant stage manager, the director, who was also starring in the show, and maybe 2 other people in the building that had the code to the booth. And granted, 2 of us are already in the booth the entire show. The artistic director was in and out of the booth the entire show, but I knew when he was coming and leaving from the booth. And the others were either on, like, in the cast or running the box office, so they really didn't either have a chance or had no reason to come up to the booth. And again, I heard, and although this time around the door to the room I was in was open when the artistic director wasn't in the next booth over, and when he left that door open. So I heard the boots up, down, and up again, and figured the person came in the booth next door, the room next door, and saw somebody out of the corner of my eye, saw full, I don't know if it was like a full body, but I saw something like over here, touch me on the shoulder, turn around, leave, and I thought I heard somebody sit down in one of the stools that we had in the next room over that Jeffrey, the artistic director, sat in. So when I had a couple of minutes, I got up, looked in the next room, nobody was there. So that happened and stuff. So that was, I don't know who the spirit was or what it was, but I can say that I really wasn't necessarily scared per se, because The booth at the Players is kind of one of the more active areas, and I'd kind of mentally gotten to the point where I knew I shouldn't really be scared, because none of the spirits that are at the Sarasota Players are, to my knowledge, negative, or would harm anybody in any way, so there's really no reason to be scared of anything that happens at the Sarasota Players, so I didn't really get freaked out. I mean, at first I was kind of like, what the hell? But after that I was just kind of like, it's not really that big of a deal. But yeah, another incident that happened at the Sarasota Players was whenever I have performed in a show, and I was getting ready, you know, putting on my makeup and whatnot, there's this one spot that I like to sit in a lot if I get there early enough when we're claiming spots and whatnot in the dressing room. I like to sit at the farthest end from the door, on the right side of the room is where I like to sit, usually if I can get that spot. And every time I've been getting ready, putting on my makeup, you know, I'll just be focused on whatever I'm doing, listening to my iPod or whatever, looking over my script. There have been, almost every show I do, there will be 4 or 5 nights through a run, where I will just be sitting there, kind of zoned out on what I was doing, getting ready to, focusing on the performance we were about to do, and I'll hear my name I'll hear somebody call my name, and at this point, after a few shows, I had gotten to the point where when I'm getting ready for a performance, I really don't bother listening when I hear my name called, because it's happened so many times that I've literally, when I first heard my name the first few shows, I would get up, go to the door to get into the dressing room, and there'll be nobody there. Nobody in the dressing room was calling my name, or even talking about me in any way. But it was like plain as day when I could hear my name called. It was like, Emily, I need your help with something, or, you know, just normal conversational, hey, Emily, kind of thing. So that was kind of another thing that's happened on a relatively regular basis. There have been other people that have heard their names called as well. So I'm not the only one. I'm not like a schizophrenic or something that's always hearing voices or seeing shit. So it's like, I'm not the only person that's experienced this stuff. Stuff happen, people experience stuff up in the booth all the time. People hear their names called all the time. And one other thing. One last quick story. Before we started using what's called a ghost light, I'll put a link in the description as to what a ghost light is. Before we started using a ghost light, without fail, people would set their props. They would put their props away the night before, put them where they need to go, on the prop table, have them all nice and organized, and then the next day, even after the stage manager, assistant stage manager, prop manager, whoever, double-checked, triple-checked, quadruple-checked all the props, made sure they were all there, the next day we would recheck all the props, and at some point there was a prop that was bound to be missing, or a set piece that wasn't quite how it should, like, quite how we left it the night before. So that's another thing that happened. And as soon as we started using the ghost light, that kind of activity went way the hell down. So, yeah, those are kind of a few of the experiences that I've had at the Sarasota Players Theater. Again, I will leave a link in the description discussing what a ghost light is if you do not know what that is or what the story behind that is. Obviously we use it for obvious reasons, safety reasons, and there's a few different legends as to why we use the ghost light, or any theater uses a ghost light for the ghosts. So yeah, anyway, that is kind of the local story for today, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories tomorrow. If you have any suggestions as to what paranormal legends or urban legends, ghost stories you want me to talk about in your area, please message me or leave a comment in the description, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye.